welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss the lead code problem number 133, clone graphs. Firstly, we are going to discuss the logic, how to solve this question, and then I'll proceed on to code it, right? But I recommend you to see the logic first and then try to code it yourself because it's a good practice. So let's get started.
We are given a reference of a node in a connected undirected graph. Please note that the graph is connected and it is undirected. And we have to return a deep copy, that is the clone of the graph, right? Deep copy, it means that any changes made to a copy of object do not reflect in the original object. If you are already aware of the deep copy, please skip this part. You may refer to the timeline given in the description to jump to the next part of this video. Let's understand shallow and deep copy in graphs with the help of an example. Let's consider a graph with two nodes A and B. The node A has address 100 and node B has address 200. Node A is connected to B as shown. Node B is also connected to node A since the graph is undirected. Node A has value 1 with neighbor set containing only 200 as the address. 200 is the address of the node B. The neighbor set consists of the addresses of the nodes to which the particular node is connected. So A is connected to B. Similarly, the node B is connected to node A because the neighbor set of node B consists of 100, which is the address of node A. Now we will look upon shallow and deep copy separately. In the case of shallow copy, the two nodes node A dash and node B dash are created with different memory addresses, that is 1000 and 2000 respectively. The value and neighbor set of the new nodes is same as that of the actual graph. That is, the node A dash has same value and neighbor set as that of node A, and node B dash has same value and neighbor set as that of node B. So the node A dash, which has neighbor set as 200 and hence it is pointing to node B, that is, it is connected to node B, while node B dash is connected to node A since the neighbor set contains the value 100. So this happens in the case of shallow copy of graph. Now let's discuss what happens in deep copy. In the case of deep copy, the node A dash value is same as that of node A, while the node B dash value is same as that of node B, while the neighbor set contains the new node's values. That is, node A dash has neighbor set as 2000, while node B dash has neighbor set as 1000. That means there is a connection between the new nodes and not the old nodes. That's what makes deep copy different from shallow copy. Now I hope that deep copy is clear to you. If it is still not, please refer to the link that is given in this question. Now let's understand the problem statement. In this, each node in the graph contains a value which is of integer type and a list of neighbors which is of type list of node. Okay, and the test case format is taken as same as the nodes index for simplicity, and which is one index. For example, the first node with value equals 1 and second node with value equals 2 and so on. Also, the graph is represented in the test case using an adjacency list. Let's go through these examples. Example number 1. Here the original graph is given as this with the node values as 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is the original graph, and we have to output the following clone of the graph in which the nodes have same value as that of the original graph, and the linkage between the nodes is also proper. That means let's say 1 4 is there, then 1 4 is there, then 1 2 1 2 2 3 and 4 3. Like this we can see the connections are proper as well. And the point to be noted that we cannot of course output the same graph, we cannot return that. And also, even if the nodes have the same value, but they must have the same connections. In this case here, they don't have
the same connections even though they are having the same values, this is also not acceptable. So we have to return this one only. For example, as stated above, like for the node 1, the adjacent people are 2 and 4. That is, for node 1, adjacent nodes are 2 and 4. For node 2, the adjacent nodes are 1 and 3. And for 3, the adjacent nodes are 2 and 4. And for node 4, the adjacents are 1 and 3. Right? So in the example 2, this is a single node and it is represented as this because the first one represents the value 1, that is right, and there are no neighbors to this, so it is a single node with value 1. And this is example 3, in which this is an empty graph because there is no element present, it doesn't have any nodes. And this example 4, in this 1 is connected to 2, so we can say that the neighbor of 1 is 2 and neighbor of 2 is 1. So we have to output the clone of this graph as well.
Let's discuss the logic to solve this question. In order to clone the graph, we have to perform two tasks. That is, this is the original graph that we are given. So we need to firstly make the new nodes corresponding to the old nodes we are given, right? So create the new nodes with the same values as that of the given graph. Secondly, we have to make the edges between the new nodes as same as that of the original graph. So corresponding whatever edges are there, we need to make it in this new graph. The ways to perform these two tasks can be many, but let's discuss the naive way first. We can do it in two separate steps as we have two separate tasks. Firstly, we need to create the new nodes as that of the old node, and then secondly we have to create the connections between them. So firstly, we can do that in two separate steps. Firstly, we can create the new nodes by traversing the old graph. So we can do the graph traversal by using breadth first traversal or depth first traversal, whatever suits you the best, right? So while traversing each node, let's say I'm visiting this one, let's make a new node 1 dash, right? So whenever I'm traversing a new node, just make a new node corresponding to it one by one. Also also we are taking one more map which consists of the pair value as like one old node as the key and the new node 1 dash as the value, right? So this is the map we are taking for that. This will be used in the future connections, right? So secondly, I'm taking 2. So I'm making 2 dash corresponding to this, and then I'm also making an entry. So let's say I visit 3 next. So I'm making 3 dash and making corresponding entry to the map as like this. And similarly, if I visit 4, then I'm making 4 dash as a new node. So whatever the way I'm taking, whatever the traversal is, whenever I'm visiting any node, just make a new node and then add that entry to the map. So that entry will be used in the second step. Now when we are done with the creating new nodes corresponding to the original nodes in the graph, our next step is to create connections or edges among these nodes. We will traverse the adjacency list of the original node and fill the adjacency list of the corresponding new node by looking at the map that we created in step 1 here, and by traversing each node sequentially and copying its neighbors one by one. Let's see what it says. Okay, so first of all, what I am doing is just traverse this map one by one, and we know that 1 maps to 1 dash, that is old maps to new. So whatever the old one's neighbors are, so here the old one's neighbor are, in the new graph it is 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash and 4 dash, right? So 1 is mapping to 1 dash, and we know that it is defined in the class of the node that there are two things, that is one value is there which is of integer type, and another is the adjacency list of nodes are there, right? Whichever are the neighbors of it. So we can get these neighbors. Let's say here it is 2 and 4. We can get these neighbors and traverse one by one here also. So firstly it is 2. So we would be making, we already have made these 4 nodes, right? So in this class of new nodes, so for each node we can update this adjacency list, and we can add for 2. We will see in this map and take the new entry, that is new 2 dash, and we'll add this 2 dash to the adjacency list of 1 dash. Okay, and since we're traversing its neighbors, then the next neighbor is 4. For 4, the map entry is 4 dash, that is the new node for 4 is 4 dash. So we'll be adding this 4 dash to 1 dash adjacency list, right? So this is all. Since the this whole list is traversed for 1, then we'll move forward to the next entry in the map, that is 2, and for 2 it is 2 dash. So we'll be writing these elements, the neighbors, in 2 dash. So for 2 dash we'll look into the neighbors of 2. So we'll traverse the neighbors of 2. For 2 the neighbors are 1 and 3. So corresponding entries, mapping entries, that is new nodes for 1 and 3 are 1 dash and 3 dash respectively. So we'll enter to 1 dash and 3 dash to the adjacency list of 2 dash, right? Similarly for 3 dash and 4 dash, for 3 it is 2 and 4, the neighbors are 2 and 4. So for 2, if we see map, we get 2 dash, and for 4 we get 4 dash. So we'll be putting 2 dash and 4 dash to 3 dash. Similarly for 4 dash we'll be putting 1 dash and 3 dash, right? So we have filled these adjacency list, and yeah, we can also see that while filling, similarly we can see like after filling 1 dash, 2 dash and 4 dash are neighbors of 1 dash, so this edge is connected. By filling 2 dash to 1 dash and 3 dash, 1 dash is already connected to 3 dash. When we connect, this edge is made. For 3 dash it is 2 dash and 4 dash, so we'll add 4 dash as well. And for 4 dash, 1 dash, 3 dash are already connected. So these are the edges in the new graph. So we have made the connections in the new graph. Earlier we made the nodes in the step 1. This is the step 1, and this one is the step 2. So in 2 steps we have solved this problem, and in the very naive way, and we are given 1 as input, so we have to output the corresponding node in the new graph for 1, that is 1 dash. So we'll output that, and we have solved this problem. However, we have done it using 2 traversals of the graph, but we can optimize it by using single traversal. One important observation is that we don't need to do the step 1 separately. We will create new nodes and corresponding edges between them while we traverse the original graph. This will do our job in just a single traversal of the old graph. I recommend you to try to merge these 2 steps and try to code it yourself first. Now let's code the solution in the optimized way. As we have discussed, we need to perform a single traversal on the graph in order to clone it. We can either traverse the graph using DFT or BFT. DFT stands for depth first traversal and BFT stands for breadth first traversal. I find here BFT easier to implement. So let's go with the BFT. First step is to create a new node corresponding to the initial node. Also we need to put this in our map. So let's create a map, an ordered map, which will be mapping the old node with the new node. So I'm making unordered map of node star, comma node star. Let's name it as M. Now we have to create a new node corresponding to the given initial node and store it to this map that we have created, right? So let's add this entry with key as the old node which is given to us and value as the new node that we are creating. So we are creating a new node with the same value as that of the original node that we are given to us. That it is. Then now what's up next? let's first define a queue for our BFT. Push the initial given node in the queue, right? So let's create a queue. The queue will contain the nodes. So let's make a queue of node star and name it as queue, let's say, and push the original node to the queue. Okay, so I am pushing it, and then um, now till the queue is non-empty, we have to remove the nodes one by one from the front. After removing each node, we will traverse the adjacency list of this removed node. So let's write it. So like while the queue is not empty, yeah, we have to, let's take a pointer and to the node that we are popping out, that is the front. So q dot front. So this is the front element, and we need to pop it out after fetching it. Then yeah, we have to traverse the neighbors of it. So for node star, let's say nbr neighbor, and let's traverse the old neighbors. So as we already know that in this class node we have vector of node star neighbors, so we are traversing this vector. Okay, BORS. Okay, so we're traversing it. Now note that the front node and all its neighbors are the nodes of the given original graph. Our goal is to add the neighbors of the new node with the help of the neighbors of the old node, right? So let's do that.
Let's make
A new node, which is the mapping of the old node, right? And let's take the mapping of the old node's neighbors to get the new node's neighbor, and add the new node neighbor to the adjacency list of new node, right? Let's do it. Wait, new node nvr is equals to, we have to get m of nvr, right? The number is there, and for new nodes neighbor not pushback new node. So this is what we are doing, but some of the nodes from this adjacency list would have been processed earlier, and some are yet to be processed. By processing I mean that it went to the queue. So it's like, let's say this is our graph. So in order to traverse it, what we are doing is like putting, let's say one is in the queue, and when we pop it out, the thing that we are doing, so it is being processed. So whenever it is in the queue, I'm saying that it is being processed. So the problem ahead of us is how we would get to know if a particular node needs to be pushed to the queue or not. In the traditional BFT, we use the visited array to do that. And one possibility is to create a set or hash table of visited or process nodes, but that would require an extra space. Can we achieve this visited and visited functionality using our already defined map and queue? Let's see. So here we have to push the neighbor as well to the queue if the neighbor is not processed yet. By processed I mean it did not go to the queue, right? So if I keep a check, if map dot count of this neighbor is 0. By this I mean that. Then I have to m of mbr. I have to make this new node. This means that the node is not yet processed, and it has to be the same value as that of this, and I have to push it to the queue. Let's see if it works or not, right? So during our BFT, if we have come across a node whose entry is not there in the map, we immediately create its entry in the map and push it to the queue, right? So I'm making a new node, creating its entry in the map and pushing it to the queue. Can you see it how it resolves our issue at any step in future? If we see that a node has entered into our map, right? We are sure that this particular node was added into the queue in the past, and so we don't need to push it again, right? So if we check it out this, if the map here, if the map already contains some entry, right, it maps old to new. If already there is some element is there, and if this old mapping is there, that means it is processed earlier, and so we don't need to push it again. Awesome. So that is how this temporary hurdle is solved, and that's why we don't need any additional visited array for this. So in the traditional BFT we take an additional array, but we have solved it without using any visited array. And at the last, simple, when the queue is empty, like when we are out of this loop, just return the new graph. Return the new graph, that means the newly created node corresponding to the given old node. So we have to return the m of node. Map gives us the corresponding node. So let's check out whether it works or not. Oops, typo. Neighbors, right? It's working fine here. Let's submit it. Oh, we have not handled the null case, right? So we have to see the edge cases as well. So if the node is null, then we have to return null. So let's return. Yay, accepted. So that's all for this video.
If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask in the comment section below. And if you found the video informative, please like the video. And for the future channel updates, please subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next videos. That's it for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.